Alright, now let's discuss the classifications of matter, okay? Now, we defined matter that it is everything, okay? It is everything that we see on street, like the trees, the cars, even those things that we can see at home, in our school. So those are matters, okay? But the formal definition of matter, matter is everything that has mass and occupies space or that has volume. Now, how can we classify matter, okay? So matter can be classified into two, okay? So let's start first with matter, okay? Now matter can be classified into two, which is we have substance and we have mixture. Okay? Now when we say substance, these are okay? Now when we say substance, it is a form of matter that has a definite composition and distinct property. Okay? So meaning this has a distinct composition and distinct properties. Okay? So example of substances. So we can have like sugar, we can have water, we can have oxygen gas, we can have gold. Okay? Now substances differ from one another in terms of their composition and in terms of their properties. Okay, so for example, one substance can be different from the other substance based on their appearance, their smell, their taste, and other property. Okay, now for mixture, okay, mixture is a combination of substances. Okay, so for example, if we try to make a juice, for example an orange juice, so we use powdered juice then water. Okay, so we have two substances there. So we have the juice powder and the liquid water. Okay, now let's go to, okay, before we go to other classification, okay, so let's talk about substance and mixture. Okay, so we have defined that substances are a form of matter that has a distinct composition and distinct properties, while mixture is the combination of these substances. Now, how are these substances are combined to form a mixture? Okay, now they are formed through physical means. Okay, so meaning, for example, if I'm going to mix, let's say I'm going to make a sugar solution. Okay, so I'm going to mix, let's say I have here water. Okay, and I will put here sugar. Okay, now what will happen, I'm just going to put the sugar here in water, then I'm just going to mix it. And mixing is a physical method of making a mixture. Okay, so that's the difference now between a substance and a sugar, sorry, substance and a mixture. Okay, now let's classify substances. Okay, now substances or substance can be further classified into two. Okay, so we have now elements and we have now compounds. Okay, now what's the difference between these two? Okay, now when we say element, okay, it is composed of one type of atom. Okay? So, for example of this one, so we can have the sodium metal, okay? Now, we can have also oxygen gas, okay? Now, as you can see here, in a sodium metal, okay, I have only one type of atom, which is sodium, okay? Now, for this one, okay, although I have two atoms here, but I only have one type of atom, which is the oxygen atom, okay? So that is element, okay? Now, compounds, it is composed of two or more types of atoms, okay? So, for example, I have table salt, okay? So, when I say table salt, the chemical formula for this one is NaCl. So, I have a sodium atom and I have a chlorine atom. So, I have two types of atoms, okay? Now, unlike with this one, although we have, again, I wanted to emphasize this one, although we have more than two atoms present in oxygen, but it is only one type of atom, okay? Now, now discussion of elements and compounds will be explained more in our next videos, okay? Now, let's go to mixtures, okay? Now, mixtures are further classified into two. So, we have the homogeneous mixture and we have heterogeneous mixture, okay? Now, when we say homogeneous mixture, you have a one phase system, okay? So when we say one phase system, meaning the composition, okay, or the composition is same all throughout, okay, or the composition is consistent all throughout. Let's say, for example, let's say our previous example a while ago. So for example, I have here water, okay? Now, I'm going to add, let's say, sugar, okay? Now, if I'm going to add sugar to water, then I mix it, okay? Now, what will be its final look or final composition, okay? Now, as you can see here, you have here water and sugar, okay? But when you try to look at it, it only appears as liquid only, right? Because the sugar is dissolved now in water. So, sugar being a solid, then water being a liquid, but if you mix them together, the water solution, okay, or sorry, the sugar solution now, only appears as liquid, okay? You don't see any solid, okay? That's why it's called a homogeneous phase, or we only have a one phase system, okay? Now, the opposite of that one is heterogeneous mixture. So, in a heterogeneous mixture, we can see two or more phase, okay? Two or more phase system, okay? So, for example of this one, if I will be mixing, let's say, oil and water, okay? Now, if I'm going to put the oil here in water, okay, and mix it. Now, after the mixing, okay, I can see two layers, right? We have oil and we have water, okay? Now, again, we know that oil is a liquid and water is a liquid, okay? Now, as you can see here, we can see two liquid system, okay? Although they are both liquid, okay, but we cannot see any, what do you call this? We can see a distinction between oil and water, okay? And we have a two-phase system, okay? So we have a liquid-liquid system. Unlike for the homogeneous mixture, okay, we cannot see the solid anymore. We have only a liquid system, okay? Now, discussion between homogeneous and heterogeneous will be also provided in our next videos. But so far, these are the classifications of matter. So we have again, matter is classified as substance and mixture. Then substance are classified as element and compound. Then for mixture, it is further classified as homogeneous mixture and heterogeneous mixture. Okay? Now, further classification of elements, then further classification of hetero, homogeneous, and compounds will be provided in our next videos. Okay? Bye!